welcome back to the YouTube channel. And today I want to walk you through something that, one, I've used for a long time, but two, has completely changed the way I shoot. And it's not a new lens or a fancy filter or anything like that. We're not going to be talking about any camera equipment today, but specifically it's maps, topographical maps. When I first started doing landscape photography, it was just a hobby at the time, and I did not expect to turn it into a professional career, which I really love and enjoy. At the time, I was still in the Army, and if you ever seen the movie Lone Survivor, that sums up my job. But essentially, and for those who haven't seen it, it's simplistic. What it is my job was to go in front of the infantry in small 2 to 3 man teams to gather reconnaissance of different things, whatever the battalion deemed to be important. In short terms, we were the eyes and ears of the battlefield. And I loved what I did before I got med boarded. And that's when I started learning about maps. And during this time, I would just hop in my car and hope to find something beautiful. And yeah, sometimes I got lucky, but most often I'd miss the best light, or it'd be the wrong spot, or I'd get there only to realize that the angle did not work right. And there's a quote that I really love that goes, "A goal without a plan is just a wish." And that hits hard, because I realized I was wishing for great photos and not planning for them, if that makes sense. And now I use maps and apps to essentially scout time and then build my shots before I even leave my house. And it all starts with, in my thought process, it starts with 3 different steps: explore, visualize, and time. Right? So first, let's talk about explore. I've touched a little bit about this when I was talking about scouting with Google Maps and Google Earth, and I'm going to open those and I just start looking. I look at mountain ridges, lakes, contrast lines, any unusual rock formations. And when something catches my eye, right, then I'll zoom in, or I'll drop a pin and label it with what I think I could shoot, something like sunrise reflection or drone ridge line. I'll even switch to 3D or a terrain mode so I can get a feel for the elevation and possible compositions, and can I even get there, right? And all of that's going to come into play. Once I've got a few potential spots, I'm going to move to step 2, which is my visualization, right? I like to use Petals or the photos photo empirism. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Empirism. Anywho, these are photo pills is the main one that I utilize. And so let's say you drop a pin and you see exactly where when you drop the pin, you'll be able to see where the sun and the moon is going to rise and set at any day or time, right? And it's also good for like Milky Way shots, because you can use the augmented reality to see what it is going to look like, right? So, let's say we drop a pin on June 15th and the sunrise will break right over, the peaks and hit the water for maybe 6 minutes. I'm not guessing, I'm planning, right? These are really accurate for the most part. And the third step is time, right? Time is right. Are you there at the right time? If it's noon, it's probably not going to work out, right? And this is where everything comes together. I check how long the hike is, when blue hour starts, and if I need to snowshoe, for example. I'll also set a bracketing if there's going to be a big difference between the sky and the foreground, but I always bracket my shots. And sometimes I'll use graduated neutral density filters for long exposures, depending on what it is that I'm trying to achieve. And all because the map helped me prepare for this, right? We looked at the map, we know how we're going to get there, right? So let me give you a real example, okay? The frozen lake I shot that I took in the Rocky Mountain National Park, right? I scouted that on Google Earth, which was Lake Hialeah. I knew Dream Lake wasn't where I wanted to go because I've been to that lake a few times during the winter, and the ice, because there's so much wind coming down, creates these little ripples on the ice, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted something smooth so I can catch the reflection of the cool morning with the warm sun. And so what I ended up doing is I scouted on Google Earth and I figured out the composition that I was looking for with photo pills, and the time my hike to get there, which took about 45 minutes before first light. I knew the sun would hit the peak just after sunrise, and when it did, boom, I had the shot, no stress, no rushing, just execution. Execution. Yeah, execution. I also use maps to mark things like alternative trailheads, drone safe areas, even places where wind can knock over tripods. And I leave notes like best light after 5 p.m. or foreground reflection only in spring runoff. These little details save time and will save the shot. So here's the point. Your gear doesn't get you epic photos, your plan does. And using maps is how you build that plan. So explore with Google Maps, explore with photo pills. Take your time and make your light and make it count, because it's your time, and how you do that is up to you. And if this helped you rethink how you prepare for shots, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what tools you use to plan your own adventures. And hopefully I'll catch you guys out there. Namaste.